we're going to talk about a little bit of the Nazi Bell project, right?
Yeah, yes. We want to talk about, this is probably the most top secret technology out there of all the research I've done into, Area 51 and stuff.
So in the beginning, the Nazis had this project, right?
Well,
it was classified above.
It was, war decisive is the classification it was given under the Nazi intelligence, it was a higher step above the Nazis, atomic research that they were doing with like heavy water and their atomic bomb development. It was classified on a level higher than the A-bomb. Yes,
was the Bell.
Was this Nazi Bell experiment, and this took the experiments took place in near the border of Poland and Czechoslovakia and what's now Poland, because after the war Poland took those territories over. But Igor Witkowski, I think, is the guy who found this originally. He was either a witness or someone who knew of this. Right. He knew of the original site, and they did a BBC special with Nick Cook. He's a defense and journalist. He's an investigator for the Defense Department, and he investigates sort of this kind of stuff. And he went there to investigate this, and they found this really large concrete structure with about 25, 30 feet in diameter. It's just about 15 feet high, and it's just a rig which looks like they could have strapped some sort of like anti-gravity device in the middle of this thing. And the interesting thing is that it's right next to it looks like they built their own power plant right next to the thing in order to provide power for it. And there was all this underground tunnels and stuff. Of course, after the war, all these tunnels were dynamited shut, and they found out about this because the general who was hired to go in and kill all the scientists, he got tried for war crimes after the war. Wow. So his affidavit, this is General Yakov Sporenberg, and his affidavit from the war crime trials.
So this was a German general hired to go in and kill the German scientists who were working on this.
Yeah, because this was so secret they didn't want it getting out after the war. So he went in there and killed all the scientists, and during his affidavit describes all this stuff that very not anything super detailed about it, but it gives enough information for do a bit of further research. After that Nick Cook thing came out on I think it was on BBC a couple 5 years ago, something like that. This other guy, Joseph Farrell, I met him down in Albuquerque at a conference last summer, and he's done subsequent research on this. He's an expert on Nazi intelligence, Nazi Germany, all kinds of World War II stuff, and he's written like 3 books on this Nazi Bell, the secret brotherhoods of the Nazi regime and the SS and stuff like that. Right. He's got a book called SS Brotherhood of the Bell, and he's got quite a few books on this, and he's done a tremendous amount of research. There's an interview with him online on Project Camelot. I gave you the link on that stuff so people can go check that out.
So what is it?
The idea is that it has these 2 counter-rotating drums, which are filled with this mysterious Zerum 525, which they're trying to reformulate. They think it was formulated on mercury and thorium isomers. But the idea is that these 2 counter-rotating drums create a torsion effect. Torsion is twisting, so the idea is that if you have these 2 things spinning, massively spinning, counter-rotating against each other, that it creates a twisting of the sort of vacuum energy or the vacuum density, and can actually twist space-time and manipulate it. It's like anti-gravity technology. The interesting thing about that I thought about this is all the correlations it has to all this other research. There's this alleged the top-secret Aurora project, which we mentioned earlier. This was disclosed by a guy named Edgar Fouché, who is one of the only people we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he actually worked at Area 51. There's not too many people that have come out of working at Area 51
that listen to the real news.
Still have held up to the scrutiny. That they've looked at their credentials and their background. And this guy, he's an avionics specialist. He has all the clearances required that he could have worked there. And his story checks out. And I have his complete biography and his full original disclosure that he made when he came out with all his information. He came out to the International UFO Congress in California, and he released all his information at once. I have a complete transcript of that. It's up on my website, alienscientist.com.
Oh, definitely. They don't want to hear about it. That's true. I definitely agree with you there.
But they have this sort of secret craft. It's triangular shaped, and apparently this thing has been spotted in Belgium a bunch of times. It's a triangular shaped craft, and it runs on this. What he describes as they called it at Area 51, according to him, is a magnetic flux field disruptor. That's just the name for it. And the magnetic flux field disruptor, according to Edgar Fouché, is a device that rotates a liquid mercury-based plasma at pressurized to high pressure and rotated at high speed. It's about 60,000 RPMs. And the interesting thing is he's talking about a rotating liquid plasma made of mercury. And I have the whole research done into this Nazi Bell thing talking about rotating liquid mercury, this Zerum 525. So this is like too much of a coincidence for these two things to line up that perfectly. So it makes me really think that there might be something more to this this sort of...
well, if it's war decisive, it's got to be pretty intense, right? It's got to be something pretty big.
I would say so. For them to classify it a step above, their atomic development, that's very telling.
So, I think that we'll never know. We'll never really know.
Does this TR-3B aircraft exist? Does our military have anti-gravity technology? Are they hiding it? And no, it seems very plausible to me.
I gotta say yes.
Yeah,
I gotta say they have it, and if they don't, they'd better have it soon,
they better hurry up.
Someone else is probably working on it. So go USA.
Right, everyone at MIT just heard this. So.
Yeah.
So, have you guys seen the videos of the third generation night goggles looking into the sky late at night?
Yes, that's another interesting thing. These third generation night vision, third generation picks up.
I just knew of night vision.
Night vision. The third generation picks up objects in the far infrared, which is a lot deeper of a spectrum than most night vision goggles go into.
Sure. Like X-ray vision.
They've had a lot of these researchers or guys. I mean, it costs like $30,000 to buy one of these cameras, and I looked online. I mean, But anyways, the idea is that these people were going out and they were filming these objects in the sky using third generation night vision, where they can see an object is clearly there. It's a glowing ball of light sitting in the sky, but it's completely invisible to the visible spectrum.
Right.
But it's there on this third generation night vision, so it's there operating in deep infrared, but to the visible spectrum it's completely invisible. How do you explain that?
Aliens.
Cloaking. Well, I would explain it with cloaking technology. It doesn't necessarily need to be aliens. It could be military, it could be top secret government research.
Right.
But the thing is that
they're everywhere.
Metamaterial.
We're watching.
Metamaterials would allow, if you had a metamaterial that was active for visible frequencies of light, you could have this object would appear invisible to visible frequencies of light, visible to the human eye, but it would still be detected in these sort of sub-frequencies, like these deep infrared frequencies.
That's wild, man. I need to let's go throw.
There's a bunch
on a set of third generation.
That's what I want to do. One of my goals was I want to try and get a third generation night vision equipment. I want to bring it to Open Astronomy Night here at MIT and see if we can capture some of these things and see what the professors have to say about it.
Dude, there's probably a company great for that.
Hey, now doesn't China have working cloaking technology? Like
they have these camouflage vests and stuff. More, I'm sure they probably have it classified research.
Yeah, that's the stuff you can see on the TV.
On future weapons, the pictures that take pictures.
Yeah, if they're showing you a poncho that can turn someone invisible, they have like hidden cover.
You know they got Harry Potter. Look at the whole Harry Potter cloak.
Oh yeah, man. It's wild.
So there's a whole world of...
I'm thoroughly freaked out, man.
There's just a whole world of information that you can go out there and find if you're willing to witness it, right? A lot of people, they're not going to be interested.
You gotta be brave.
They're going to want to believe what they're told, believe what they're given by the corporate media, believe what they're given by, their religion of choice, whatever they've been taught in school.
Just let it all go, man. Just let it go.
Exactly.
You're going to be happy with that.
Plug in with that and forget everything else. But there's a whole other world out there where the people are awakening. Believe it or not, like it or not, the people are getting their minds opened up enough to see what's going on out there.
Well,
And I
Very
think-
slowly.
There's different levels of it. I mean, and the thing is, Joseph Farrell, he's the guy that wrote this book. I just watched this interview yesterday, which is why it's on my mind. It's a really great interview. But he was a college professor for a number of years, and he used to research all this kind of stuff, esoteric, nature stuff, in his spare time over like 20-year period. He used to. He wouldn't talk about it in his professional atmosphere as a professor, but back in his own little, at his own spare time, he's researching this stuff. And I think there's a lot of people out there that probably researching this stuff, thinking about it, but they're just afraid to come out publicly and risk discrediting their reputation and all this other stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things to be concerned with here. If a lot of people research,
But
this
they
stuff,
shouldn't be. They shouldn't be afraid.
The time's
There's
over
no-
for that.
there's no excuse
no
for
time
fear.
left.
The Vatican's not going to put you in a tower.
All right. Well,
All power to the people.
Yeah.
I'm going to close with just, believe whatever you can find evidence for. Don't believe it because it's popular.
Yes.